Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here once again. We have more NACL Open Qualifier action. The Saints, if you were here with us yesterday, you'll know how things went. I, Daniil, also known as Bez McGee, am joined once again by Theo, also known as the Holy Juan. And let's just reflect a little bit on the previous day and what we have in store today.
Yeah, let's see. Yesterday was not the best day for the
No,
Saints.
sir.
Their first
No,
series
sir.
was pretty swift, a swift 2-0. So good job from them there. Then second round, they won the game one very, very easily, and then they lost the following two matches to drop into the lower bracket
And I
where
just want to add, I was super correct in the prediction
you
that
were.
since game one was a stomp for Saints, game two is going to be a stomp for their opponents. Game three, super even, super close, ended up with a victory for the other team. Unfortunate, but
Yeah,
I was right. That's all that matters.
you were in a way correct. So good prediction by you. But now the Saints, their lower bracket, they have one more chance left, I believe. Can't be losing any more matches. They're going to be going up against Oklahoma Christian University. Seating wise, they're a pretty big favorite, but that was the case yesterday as well. And
True.
we saw how yesterday went. So it's definitely going to be important for the Saints. I know they weren't too happy about that loss yesterday. I mean, who could be? They were feeling confident. They were feeling good. Want to play some of the top teams in the tournament, and just went down to the losers bracket early. Now they need to be practically perfect and play a lot more games to get to play against those really good teams.
Yeah, they're going to have to work a lot harder, but the goal is still the same. They
Yeah.
want to qualify for the NA Challengers League. They want to get there, and most teams, every team, dare I say, in this qualifier wants to be there. It represents a huge shift in terms of your competition. A lot of these teams, I'm discovering now, a lot of these teams are collegiate teams.
Yeah.
Oklahoma Christian we played today. Yesterday we played TMU. They want to get that step up, and a lot of them are capable of competing at that level of play. And our players here today, we have the same lineup that we had yesterday, all 5 players ready to go. We have, of course, Ricky LaFleur, Maddie, Flo Conlig, and Miracle, all good to go. And like you said, yesterday the defeat was it was disheartening, but that's the thing about this team. They don't let it really control them. Sometimes a loss can be devastating for certain teams and it lets them kind of loom over them forever and they never fully recover. But this team, they take the losses and they move on. And I think that's going to be a big strength for them.
Yeah, definitely a big strength for them. Let's see if they decide to play the same type of compositions they played yesterday. They liked playing a Nunu Ari or Nunu whatever and play around Flocon and let him get really fed, and that was a way for victory for them. It seems like when they played towards the bot side, it was a little bit harder, but Flocon, when he got kills early and when he was
Yeah.
ahead, seemed like he was able to carry the games. Ricky just was really farming up in the sidelines, and then later into the game was just being a menace in the team fights, which was kind of his only job. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see will Flocon and Lig, are they gonna be on their game today? Are they gonna be able to carry on these carry champs that they're gonna be playing?
Yeah, I think the interview we had with Elaine yesterday was very enlightening. We got the team strategies just revolve mostly around the bottom or mid lane, mostly around the bottom lane. They feel like that's their strongest team play element. Miracle and Leg are a very strong duo, and they can be relied on pretty consistently to win games. But we often find Flocon just through happenstance, like we saw in the game. I think it was the second game they played that day where they ended up getting a triple kill on Flocon just at the start of the game,
Yeah.
and it was just all downhill from there for the enemy team. They want to have more things like that happening. And while you can't necessarily predict them, if Flocon is in a position to carry the game, they just let him do it, and he's very competent and capable of doing such a thing. You don't really see strategies relying around Ricky. They're totally fine stacking his lane because he plays champions that allows him to recover regardless. Like we saw him playing the Cassante yesterday and Olaf several times. He's constantly getting things thrown at him, but he's able to recover regardless and still represent a solid threat. But Desperado Gaming yesterday, we saw a lot of their strategies revolved around their top lane. Different teams have different ways of building their drafts and their strategies and trying to execute based on that.
And speaking of Ricky, we have an interview with the man himself. So let's head down over there to Ricky. Ricky, how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Gentlemen, I'm feeling like $1,000,000 today.
You look like $1,000,000, Ricky LaFleur, but $1,000,000 is what you guys are ultimately hoping to compete for. Not today, but someday. Get from tier 2, maybe get to tier 1. $1,000,000 will be on the table. But again, this is your chance to really fight to get into that tier 2 scene. But yesterday, there were some hurdles. I want to hear from you, hear from a player who went through it. What really went wrong yesterday, and how do you guys think you're going to do better today?
Well, basically, what went wrong yesterday is we acquired the bag and then we sold the bag. So pretty much, we had the win and then we fumbled it. You know, did you watch the Baltimore Ravens AL
No.
game this year?
No.
Yeah, well,
The answer's never with me.
we're pretty much their tight end. That's the equivalent. We are Mark Andrews.
Does this make sense to you?
The Mark
Selling the
Andrews
bag.
of St. Clair.
Okay, well, fair enough. I guess in that case, I'll translate. Ricky is saying they had a good advantage, but miscommunications, a couple misplays here and there. Next thing you know, the game's over.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's a one-to-one translation.
That's a one-to-one translation. Well, Ricky, you have Oklahoma Christian coming up today. What do you think of this opponent? You know, lower seed, you guys are favorites. Are we going to see a quick 2-0, or are we going to see some more shenanigans like we did yesterday?
I mean, shenanigans with this team are a given. Like, you're almost always going to see it. Oklahoma Christian, though, it's a team we've played a lot in the past. It's a team that we've definitely beaten before, so we're definitely looking forward to facing them. As far as whether or not we'll 2-0, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously for you guys, I'd like it to be competitive, but
man,
obviously
we're all sick.
we're striving for the 2-0.
I think that 2-0 is good. We're all sick right now. 2-0 would mean we can get home and drink some nice chicken soup. So don't worry about us. We're good with the 2-0 one way or another. You know, fight hard, fight strong. Come on. I want to hear from you. Being this lonely top laner sitting and getting your lane sacked over and over again, I never really asked you, is this par for the course? Do you guys draft with that in mind? Do you guys strategize? Like, we don't care if Ricky gets ganked 10 times. He will be a force in the game regardless. Like, what's going on when it comes to those top lane strategies for you guys? We see you guys get run down constantly.
Definitely that's not the game plan going in, is just draft Ricky whatever and hopefully he does his own thing. That's like not the ideal scenario, but yeah, I mean, you see our games, like you see how we tend to play. Like obviously typically we're focusing most of our resources into our bot lane, but that doesn't mean we won't play for top, because in the past we have. So it's not something that's off the table, but yeah, typically we are playing for bot.
And in this next upcoming series, you're playing against opponent you know well. Is there any chance we get to see some spicy picks, or are we going to be seeing more of the meta from both sides?
Maybe
here?
we'll play for top this time.
Chances are you'll see a lot of meta picks. I'm not gonna lie. The Singed not gonna be making an
Singed?
appearance.
Damn.
No Singed, probably not
Okay.
gonna happen. Yeah, I can't see really any fun picks coming out, to be honest.
Well, you know, fun picks, schmun picks, doesn't matter. In the end, all that matters is you get the win. You can finish off your munchos. They're on the table right there, right? Don't worry. They're
Those are
sitting
mine.
Those are
comfortably.
Theo's munchos.
They're going to be yours after this, all
No,
right?
I got my own bag. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, bro. Don't worry.
Hey, we're doing this for the munchos, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky, before we send you off, do you have any last words for the people at home watching you, maybe
Yeah.
before we get to the game?
So my final words would be that as a public service announcement, Daniil hates munchos. Therefore, you might want to avoid them.
Munchos are not very good food to me. I don't think I qualify them as food at all. They taste like cheese for some
Hey,
reason.
more
They don't
for
taste
me.
like cheese,
They
bro.
taste
They're
like
like
cheese.
potato chips.
More
bro.
for me.
More for you,
I'm
more for
down.
everybody, and more Ricky for us all, hopefully in the future. Ricky, thank you very much for
No
joining
problem,
us up
gentlemen.
here, and good luck in your game.
Thank you.
Come on. Good luck, boys, and yeah, Ricky LaFleur, one of the
Seems-
best, one of the best of all time.
Yeah, seems pretty happy, pretty locked in. That means the team morale's probably pretty far up. And, you know, they're going up against a bit of an opponent they have played in the past. They have beat Oklahoma Christian. So I definitely expect them to be ready for this. I definitely don't expect anything wacky to catch them off guard. Like if they play against an ASOL, they played against it a couple of times this season and got absolutely slaughtered. But I think this time, if we see something like that, I expect the Saints to definitely be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about this ASOL a lot.
Ah, you
but
got
it's
nightmares.
It's a fair point,
no,
right?
no, it's nightmares.
It's a fair point. Teams can kind of get into a bit of a confidence trap. Like you said, they played against the ASOL, they get thrashed by it, like, nah, we're fine. We can kill it again.
They
get
played
picked
it again the next game.
and then they get
Got
thrashed by it again.
slaughtered again.
You know, you have to be willing to accept the circumstances as they are. And besides that scenario, I think the team is pretty good at that. You know,
Okay.
I don't see them do things for the sake of ego very much. I think that's fair. I think they play pretty solid all around, and they play for the win, regardless, they don't do anything too trolly. You know what I mean?
I mean, each to their own. Sometimes they do step up a little bit too far in
Well,
certain
fumbling the
situations.
bag is different from playing trolly.
I mean, matters how you look at it. Like if you aren't supposed to walk up to like a top wave because you know the whole enemy team is top side and you decide, you know what, I'm gonna walk up to this top wave and you die, that's troll.
But
Like the rest of your team's like, don't go top lane, they're gonna be top lane, and then you go top lane and die.
what I'm
That's
saying,
that's troll.
what I'm talking about when I say troll is we're going to intentionally pick a bad champion and try to win with it because we think you guys suck. Lol. That's
Well,
what I'm saying. They don't do that
why would they do that?
because they want to prove that they're better.
No, they don't do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my point. So we agree.
They just troll on other stuff.
They throw in other ways.
Yeah.
Speaking of throw, just to go over a little bit of yesterday, I think you and I both agree. Talking to the players after the game, I think they all kind of agree. There are a lot of interesting plays that went down that
Yeah.
ended up resulting in a lot of disadvantageous situations. One thing I talked to Alonso about was about the Nico. The Nico, you and I both agreed was definitely MVP of the series, but he
Mhm.
shed a different perspective on it from me. He's like, the Nico honestly wasn't playing that well. It's just we were playing really, really poorly. And I think there's a big difference in a game like this between what you let your opponent get away with versus what what they do to you. Like you can be good, and your opponent can be good, but if you're playing smart, they're not going to be able to do those good things to you. I think the Saints just really have to make sure they're not letting any gaps in their defense or offense be too wide or be too exploitable that would allow their opponents to really mess up their strat.
Yeah, I mean they just have to play better in shorter terms. They have to not make the misplays at the wrong times, and that's just what's happening. It is what it is. We're watching these games. There's times that people are dying when they shouldn't be dying,
Absolutely should not.
and it just leads to a disaster because one person dies, then another person's like, oh, you know what? Let's take the 4v5. They use a couple ultimates. The whole team blows up, and the game's over. GG.
Yeah.
That's not good.
And again, sometimes it happens. We saw it definitely happen yesterday, where there was just some things that were going on that really, absolutely, totally, completely, 100% should not have been happening. But as a team, they have to come together, recognize the situations. Hey, by the time we were done in this room and walked up to the stage, we saw them replaying, watching it, flaming themselves, flaming each other a little bit. Like, what are you doing here? What's wrong with you? Coach Alonso had some choice words for sure, but
Did he?
huh?
I didn't hear any choice words.
I mean, they weren't that bad.
Oh.
They were just like, why are we feeding?
Why are we feeding?
Why are we feeding? Why are you doing this? It's stupid, right? But that's the kind of mentality you want to have. You don't want to hear people like, oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's just like, okay, here's what we did wrong. Why are we feeding? Don't do that anymore.
Don't do it again.
I'm pretty confident we won't see stuff like that, or at least the same kind of throws we saw yesterday. I don't think we'll see those kinds of throws at least for another 2 weeks.
And I think for the Saints, the fact that it is a fearless draft isn't the best case scenario for them. I don't know if their champion pools are just big enough. Like if they have a
I don't think so.
if they have a best of 5 in a fearless draft, they have to play game 5. I don't know what they're going to be picking. So
Yeah,
I talked to Lonzo. He said picking fearless it's
bad.
definitely harder than just picking regular draft because you have to think about so much. So there's a different element to drafting since fearless has come into the game, and it's going to be important for everybody who plays League of Legends at a higher level to learn a couple new champions, a couple niche champions, which they can pull out in situations where they normally wouldn't.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Fearless is such an interesting element of the game. I like it a lot. I think it brings a lot to the table. The players, or at least Alonso, definitely doesn't like it. As the guy who is responsible for a lot of the drafting, it puts extra stress, extra pressure, more things to consider. I think it makes it more dynamic. He thinks it makes it more tedious. I can definitely see both sides of the perspective, but at least for our purposes, it will bring out some more interesting gameplay. We saw so many different, well, I don't know about so many, but we saw a good amount of interesting picks that we probably wouldn't have seen if not for the Fearless draft.
Yeah, because the meta is really stale for a reason. The best champs are the best champs because they're the best. That's pretty simple. Everyone plays them for that reason. But teams always have some weird thing ready to pull up. Like yesterday, we saw the Udyr against Lilia matchup. Like if we were just playing normal drafts, we would never see that in the jungle. But both Udyr and Lilia basically never get played, and we get to see them because the players that are playing the characters are very good on those specific characters, and it leads to Udyr was winning It worked out for Udyr. For Lilia, it didn't work out. But those picks were a big, like that Udyr was a big reason to why the Saints were not
Big,
able
big
to win yesterday. Like he was so tanky yesterday.
Yeah, basically unkillable. At certain points, had 700 gold bounty that was immediately claimed and then sold back to the enemy team in some moments there. But yeah, these different picks. The Tom Kench was probably the highlight for me. We thought playing top lane, we thought it would be having no impact, and it ended up being like a really big, impactful champion in that game that allowed the team to win. So again, very interesting picks all around. Excited to see what we could be seeing going to the next game, when we're going to be seeing that game. Hopefully sometime soon.
Yeah. I mean, players getting ready to get into the game. I think a draft going to be starting up relatively soon, so should be good to go. One thing I wanted to talk about real quick before we get to our draft, lane swaps for the Saints yesterday wasn't the best for them when it happened. Sometimes it worked out, but we saw other times they were just not ready for their position to throw some weird like Jace mid alongside the mid laner. It was just chaos all over the map, and you could see it led to the Saints' demise. I think for today, Alonso should have probably studied a little bit of how different teams like to play lane swaps, and especially for Oklahoma Christian, where they can get a pretty good amount of data on this team. Their games are probably all over Twitch, and just find out how they like to play lane swaps, because it's still such a crucial part of the meta.
Yeah, and speaking of lane swaps, I could definitely say the game against Desperado Gaming yesterday went Desperado's way, just based off of the lane swapping shenanigans that went down. It allowed them to get some really good early kills, prevented the Jace from having a bad lane, and it ultimately ended up stabilizing in a way that they wanted the lanes to go, and it prevented Saints from getting that early advantage they were trying to get. They basically drafted for the laning phase and then prevented the lanes from going the way that they wanted it to. So a big element of the draft just kind of went out the window. And again, Desperado Gaming was able to take the game away in a really convincing fashion game too. So lane swap's a big part of the game right now. Maybe not forever, since they're doing some interesting things in the next patch to kind of combat that. But again, lane swaps, like you said, if Alonso's been doing his homework, hopefully they will have some sort of counterplay ready.
Yeah, and just for reference, this matchup is the 14th seed against the 45th. The Saints are the 4th seed, Oklahoma Christians 45th. So that's a pretty big favorite on the papers. It's 64 teams in the tournament. And then the winner of this game will be taking on Ocean's Echo or Chaotic Esports, who are a little bit stronger. It's the 35 and 24 seed playing. So the Saints, I mean, they have a good path to make a deep run in this tournament. They're very high, one of the higher seeds in the tournament at 14. They should be able to win out through this lower bracket with relative ease. I mean, yesterday was just a bit of an upset, to be honest, from the opposition and Saints. I mean, they just have to take it on the chin and have to refocus today.
Yeah, refocus, I think, is going to be the name of the game. They really just have to hunker down, make sure they're all on the same page, and just really try to make sure they don't fall apart, stick together, and follow whatever plan Alonso has laid out for them. I think he's a smart guy. He's a good coach. He's a coach for a reason. And I think if they play disciplined, which I think was probably the biggest issue we saw yesterday, there were just a couple moments you could tell maybe someone wasn't fully focused, wasn't fully playing responsibly, maybe just getting a little bit greedy in a couple moments. I think they can really clean up their game plan and make something happen.
Yeah, going to be important to see if they do pick early game team fighting compositions, or if they decide to lay back a little bit, try and scale up and play towards the late game with some heavy late game hitters. And then let's talk about the top lane. You know, we have a lot of time. I don't know where draft is still not coming in.
Not sure what's.
But let's talk about the drafts a little bit. Ricky, what are you expecting from him up in the top lane today?
Like we saw yesterday, and again, since it's Fearless, we're definitely going to see at least 2 interesting different picks, maybe even 3, depending if we go to a game 3. But we saw the Olaf, we saw Jax. Yeah, I think he played. He played Jax, and who else did we see? We saw the Cassante.
I think that's it.
I think that's actually just
we
it.
saw him play Olaf twice.
Twice Olaf.
I think Cassante maybe twice in the Jax.
No, I think it was 1 Cassante, 1 Jax.
Well, there were 5 games yesterday.
That's well, I don't know. Maybe there's a mystery champion that we're forgetting about, but
I know he played Olaf like first pick twice, 2 drafts in a row. So I think that's a very high priority for the Saints. If Ricky gets on that Olaf, he can win practically any lane, and then just later in the game just run over some of the carries of the opposition. So definitely expecting Olaf.
Oh wait, he didn't play one of the games on day 1, right?
Oh yeah, I think that
the
Might
shower
be it.
incident.
The shower incident.
So
I need to take a shower. There's nothing wrong with that.
He needs to take a shower.
It's
You're
not.
absolutely
It's
right.
not the end of the world there.
Not at all. I mean, it's good things that league players are starting to implement into their
Lives.
life strategy.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, but speaking of the top lane, like you said, it's a pretty impactful lane. Of course, the way it goes is whichever top laner has the early advantage is going to be able to roll basically any lane that they choose with the jungler. Optimally, you only need just the jungler to roll a lane with whoever's in it. But if you really need the top laner and the jungler can basically guaranteed force one lane in a really bad position, and that will allow you to really irrevocably change the course of the game. So if the Saints really want to cement their bottom lane, they can, like Ricky said, they can. We have seen it. It's just not as common. They can play around the top side picks. They can play around the top side strategy. Put the resources up there. Make sure the bottom lane is stable. They just pick some really vanilla, stable bottom lane champions, and pick more volatile, interesting top laners to allow Ricky to really have some more agency in the game and force the lanes to go the way that they really want.
Yeah, I would like to see maybe an Aatrox come off from Ricky today. It's champ. Not that's played too much, but I feel like he's very good on it. And then in the mid lane, they love playing that Ari. That's kind of what
Yeah.
they pick. They play Mel. They play Xerath. They played it yesterday. I mean, just these mages that aren't too strong early in the game, but once they get a couple items online, they can become very, very scary. So Flocon definitely gonna need to play well today for the Saints to succeed. But they are big favorites today. We could definitely see something wonky.
Yeah, for sure. And before we maybe send it to a quick break as the players are getting things situated, again, not sure the situation is out there. But before we send it to a break, I wanted to try breaking down what you think Miracle Strats are going to be doing. What's Miracle's role going to be in this game?
I mean, it matters what they draft, really. If they decide to play some Enchanter comp, we'll definitely see him hanging around with his ADC a lot more. If he picks something like a Pantheon, a Blitzcrank, or a Poppy, we could definitely see him roaming around the map, looking to help out everybody else on the map. So it's going to be interesting to see what they draft. I have no idea what they want to draft in this game one. I definitely assume we're going to see an Olaf if it's not banned. Maybe we'll see a Victor from Flocon. That's what he likes to play. In the ball lane, they probably prioritize Kalista, Varus, Ashe. Those are like the big three they would want to play, I believe. Maybe a Jinx wouldn't be the worst either. But other than that, I don't really know what else the Saints are going to play today. They could kind of pick anything they want.
Yeah, and well, the draft, I'm hearing word, is going to be coming shortly. So speaking of the draft, I think, again, Miracle was the MVP for at least Series 2 yesterday. I think the Saints, when they give him more agency, it allows them to really excel in a lot of different areas. Because again, Lig is really strong player. Flocon's a really strong player, and if you're playing bottom side with a strong support that can make those rotations with the jungler, again, in the early game, you don't need to have anything crazy. Even just level 1 to 3, that area, you can really have some impact. So I think if they give him, like you said, that Pantheon, we saw him have a lot of impact on game 1 or game 3 yesterday against Desperado Gaming. I think they can really accomplish a lot. But ladies and gentlemen, we're finally seeing the draft coming up here, and let's see what these teams are going to be looking for.
Yeah, Saints on the blue side, Oklahoma Christian. On the red side, Corky is going to be the first ban here for St. Clair. Oklahoma Christian answer back with a Nunu. Then St. Clair, they take the Aurora off of the board. Very, very strong character Saints starting to ban. Vladimir, that's a target ban at a Flocon there. And then the Zyra going to get banned out. And then Oklahoma ban out the Skarner. And they're going to first pick Yasuo. I believe that's going to be for Ricky up in the top lane. It's probably his most played champion in League of Legends, the Yasuo. Not something we see too much, but it looks like Saints looking to play comfort this game. And they're going to pick up Vi for that knock-up to combo with the Yasuo ultimate. And it's the Yuumi, I don't think we'll be seeing the Yuumi. I definitely expect some sort of CC champion here to pick by the Saints, so you can set up that Yasuo. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but they're thinking about it. Ari, I mean, a charm works. It's strong mid jungle there with the Vi, Ari, and it's going to be answered by the Talia, a great,
Mm.
great champion. So Nar, Lee Sin, Talia, first rotation for side of Oklahoma Christian. Saints have the Yasuo, the Vi, and the Ari.
Yeah. I'm really liking the way the Saints draft is looking right now. Again, we're seeing a bit more aggression on their side, a little bit less passivity being displayed from the Saints. You see Vi, you immediately know this is a team that wants to fight, wants to get things done. Single target ultimate that just does a stun and a lot of damage. You can't go wrong with that when it comes to trying to get those kills. We saw in a lot of those games, those abilities like that were invaluable in allowing teams to just blow up a single target. I'm forgetting who we saw that a lot with yesterday. With the Ari. Yeah, and you're seeing the Ari. Just one solid CC that can be followed up with or be the follow up to different CC can help you immensely. And Vise is probably one of the best.
Absolutely, and then the Varus Rakan is going to be the ball lane here for the side of the Saints, I believe, as the Ezreal was picked up by Oklahoma Christian here. Saints thinking hard about their support. I mean, there's many, many choices here on the board. They do go for the Rakan and the Karma. That's a spicy answer here for Oklahoma Christian. A very strong bot lane. Should definitely have prio early on into the game. So it's going to be interesting to see. I definitely expect with a draft like this for the Saints to maybe play a bit more towards Ricky here, who's on the Yasuo, playing a carry champion. So maybe we'll see a different playstyle here from the Saints compared to what we usually see.
And I welcome it. We both know Ricky mechanically is an insane player. You can see he's got that
Nos.
that gamer juice
The
ready
nos.
to go.
The nos.
He's getting wired, ready to
Ooh.
get some insane frags up in the top lane. And Yasuo, high agency champion. If we're talking agency, allowing you to make plays around the map, he has a full self-sufficient kit. He has those dashes that allow him to remain mobile and get some kills done. He has the wind wall, allows him to play defensively, get some saves on his team. He has, of course, the tornado for the disable and his ultimate to really burst people down. One of the best champions when it comes to dueling, brawling, and just getting those kills with the burst as well. And he actually does have really good sustained damage. And while obviously his more role is focused on damage, he's not the weakest champion. He can take some pretty good hits and swing back full force. He's a really good champion. I think Ricky fits him very well. Obviously, if he's picking him, I'm sure he's comfortable on him as well. And I think they're going to be able to do a lot in this lane.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see the Nar comes out as a counter pick, but I don't know if it's going to matter too much. I mean, later into the game, Vi just presses the ultimate on that Nar. They can catch him on the side lane. They ult with the Yasuo. They can absolutely blow up that champion as long as he's in mini form. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think the Nar is the most important pick here in this draft from either side because if he can get that mega, if he can get the big ultimates, that's going to be kind of the carry engaged there for the side of Oklahoma Christian. But if the Saints can shut down the Nar, get him really far behind to the point where he can't really do much even when he's in mega, I think that's going to be the Saints' key to victory.
Yeah, I feel like Nar is one of those top. Okay, there's a lot of the talk we have about with the top laners who you don't care if they're getting a bad game because they're going to be impactful one way or the other. Nar is not one of those champions. Nar can lose his lane and then completely fade into irrelevancy throughout the game, and very easily. Nar, dare I say, has to have like a decent lane minimum to have impact.
Yeah.
So to me, that indicates that Oklahoma Christian, they either want to play towards their top side, or they have a lot of faith in their top laner, or maybe maybe they disagree with my analysis on Nar as a champion. And, all those things are equally likely in my head. But in any case, the Saints still have a lot they can do to counter any one of those options. They have Maddie on the Vi as well. That can he can really help out in the top lane with Ricky, get a lot of work done. They both have their abilities help them get those kills. And we have Flowcon on the Ari. I think regardless of how any of these lanes go, we're going to see Flowcon be a big problem. And I'm curious to see how Oklahoma Christian's going to be able to address it. The rest of their picks are escaping me. I definitely know they have the Nar, but the other ones, who do they have on their bottom lane?
In the bot lane, we had a Varus, they had a Ezreal.
Ezreal,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, actually, Ezreal's a really good pick in my opinion,
And
especially with their
Karma.
comp.
Ezreal Karma. It's a very strong ball
Yeah,
lane.
good poking. Varus is a really good poking bottom lane as well. Our support,
Rakan.
Rakan. I know Miracle loves to play that champion. I asked him when I was when I was playing a game of Dota with him. I asked him like, "Who's your favorite league champion?" Just to help him pick a good hero for his Dota games. Like Rakan's probably my favorite champion to play. Again, he's mobile, has high agency, allows him to get stuns, get active in team fights, make things happen. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see in this game here. He's going to be able to really get a lot done, and I don't think Oklahoma Christian's going to be able to do a lot to stop him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if he can just find those charms and the knockups on the Ezreal. He'll absolutely blow up because of the team comp of the Saints. And Rakan synergizes so well with Yasuo, that knockup into that ultimate. I mean, this team fight composition from the Saints is absolutely beautiful here. It's just going to be all about execution. I think draft wise, they will be pretty happy with how this draft went. And let's get underway. Doesn't look like there's going to be any lane swaps happening extremely early on. Both top laners running top. Mid laners just hovering around the top side jungle. Both ADCs hovering around the bot lane. So we're going to see these exact matchups, which is, I think, good for both sides. Neither team really minds this. I mean, I definitely think Oklahoma Christian's going to have a bit more prio early into the game with that Karma Ezreal. So it might be the Saints trying to play for the grubs to start off the game, as you can see Lee Sin putting on some dance moves for us there.
Dance move's so nasty, it's causing a temporal rift. As we're seeing, everyone's kind of lining up, just creating the line of skirmish down from the top to bottom lane. And we can see Talia kind of getting a little antsy here in the mid lane. Rightfully so. Miracle's not too far behind, neither is Maddie. But things are going to calm down. We're not going to see too much combat break out here at the start of this game. We're just going to see everybody kind of settle back to where they belong. No crazy lane swaps coming out. Just going to be some classic vanilla League of Legends.
Yeah, classic League of Legends. So, we're having some
Frame issues.
frame issues here, as we could say. And then, League of Legends, one of those games you can still kind of watch, even if the frames are a bit off here. As the ball lane is going to be getting that prio, like we said. Top lane is going to be pretty even matchup throughout the map, I believe. As we're going to go to us for a little bit. Our frames are looking great.
160 FPS. Doesn't
160?
get better than that.
That's
No,
pretty
not 160, just 60.
Oh,
I was about to say 100, and I was like, that doesn't make any
yeah.
sense. 100 FPS camera. But in any
I
case, I can't even lie to you. I could barely see what was happening, so I don't even know how the lanes are going or what's
There's
going on.
not much
down there.
happening right now.
Everyone's just chilling. Ari in the mid lane doing Ari things, Varus bottom lane doing Varus things for sure. But just on paper, with a little bit of a refresher, we're seeing the Talia as the mid laner. A little bit interesting to me. Definitely a strong champion, but more so on the utility end. She's able to disrupt a lot, but in terms of just like performing the function of this person gets us a lot of kills and does a lot of damage, not so much from my knowledge. Maybe she's been really optimized since I last saw the champion be popular, but I don't think she really fills that role. So I think they're going to be relying on their other champions to really get consistent damage out.
Yeah, Talia's just there kind of for her anti-dash rocks to make sure that Rakan can just easily engage. And there's a lot of dashes here for the Saints. Yasuo, obviously, another good character. Vi has a dash. Like, everyone has a dash. Talia is going to be a good utility champion in this game. Do I expect her to have a lot of kills? Probably not. Probably shouldn't. But if it does happen that way, that's going to be a big problem for the Saints, because reaching this Talia, I mean, I don't think it'll be too hard. They have Rakan Flash, they have R, they have Yasuo ult. They'll be able to access the backline of Oklahoma Christian relatively easily this game for the Saints. But it's going to be important for them not to give away early kills, to try and get ahead early on, because if they get a couple kills, they can snowball, they can control the entire map.
Yeah, and I think that's where you really have to be careful. I want to talk about champion mobility throughout the map, though. I think when it comes to being able to go from one end of the map to the other and make rotations around to make plays and ganks, again, Talia, definitely excellent in that regard. She has the rock wall, and I think she's, in terms of filling that role, I think she might be the only one in this game that's really exploits mobility like that. We don't see, like a Nunu, I think would be another example. With that snowball, rolls and gets speed ramping up as he does it. I don't think we see anybody else like that in the game. So besides just a Talia, and I think if you want something like that to be relevant in your game, you kind of have to pick more than one. So I don't think we're going to see that one be too impactful. That aspect of Talia be too impactful, since we don't see other champions on her team able to do such a thing. Again, unless they super hyper burst builder and she's be able to just rock wall from mid to bottom and just get one stone toss and get one kill immediately, which I don't see happening. I think there's a little bit of missed opportunity utilizing her mobility with her team.
Yeah, and it's 1 kill, 2-1. Ricky got a kill with the help of Vi in the top lane, and Lee Sin got a counter kill in the mid lane on the Ari solo. So I think went for the tower dive. Unfortunately, the frame issues might continue, but let's take a look at the game. We can still see what's going on relatively. Saints down 3k goal early on, but Ricky, I think they're starting to play for the top laner a little bit here. There is the Meganar coming out, doesn't hit that tornado. I think it would have led to a kill if that one might have connected. Doesn't get it. But yeah, it's a good start to the lane for Ricky. You know, it's a bit rougher early on, but once he gets that Blade of the Ruined King, it becomes a way better matchup for him.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements in this game that makes things happen. With Flowcon in the mid lane, level 6,
Oh!
going up with the dash with the assist from Maddie coming through. They're going to be able to get this pickup.
No!
Oh, just missed it. We're seeing Lee Sin, the enemy jungler, get the kill onto Flowcon. Maddie fighting for his life, just getting that
Can't
kill.
dash.
Can't dash in towards the Talia. Like you mentioned, the anti-dash rock, so valuable. We're seeing another trade, evening things out for both of these teams. 2 for 2 now, and Void Grub spawning Maddie too low, however, to do anything about it. But since Lee Sin's dead, he doesn't have to worry about it getting stolen.
And I believe both members of Oklahoma Christian University used Flash on that play, as Ricky going to get some trades up in the top lane. Trying to get prio for those grubs. It looks like Miracle is rotating over to these grubs. It should be a pretty easy fight here. Nard doesn't have Mega. Yasuo has 6. I just don't see a way Oklahoma Christian can contest these grubs, and I definitely expect them to just swap it up and take the dragon here. As we're gonna see Ricky just chill in the top lane. Finally, the Saints rotate over, but careful has to be Lig in the bot lane. They might look for a 3-man dive here. They're gonna opt not to do so, and they're gonna just start up the dragon. Maddie already taking one rift grub. I don't think Saints will be in time to contest this. This is gonna be a classic trade of objectives here, as Flowcon getting the mid prio here against this Talia. Dragon goes down, grubs go down, Miracle. Just be a little bit careful here, doesn't get caught out. Nice poke there from Lig, who is going for the poke. Varus here not going for the on-hit. Flowcon spots out the Lee Sin. I think Saints have a ward on this Lee Sin. I'm surprised Flowcon's not pathing down towards this Lee Sin, as Maddie gonna clear out some vision. Now again, Lee Sin just walking up in this pocket of no vision, but they knew Maddie was there. Lee Sin forced to dash away to his ward, who's level 6 against Maddie's level 5. So big differential in the jungle gap right now in levels and gold. But Maddie has a kill to himself. Flowcon gonna look for the solo kill. Finds the charm on the Talia. Beautiful job there from Flowcon. Getting an early kill after being set back. Get those Darksteel stacks. Big kill there from Flowcon. That's going to give the Saints a decent gold lead. 1,000 of gold. And it's a very good start for them in this early game. Ricky up CS, up in the top lane. Down in the balling Lig, also up CS, doing a great job alongside Miracle. I mean, it's just 3 winning lanes for the Saints right now, and they couldn't be in a better spot. They're going to engage on this ADC. Yeah, the Flash is forced out by the Ezreal. Lig and Miracle used some things there as well, but Oklahoma Christian able to survive that onslaught.
Yeah, survived it well. They did. Able to endure that pressure. And we're seeing the Meganar now just fighting off against Ricky, seeing what they can accomplish. Thankfully, not too much. Ricky's going to be able to take this whole wave without taking too much pressure from the Gnar. And that's exactly what you want to be seeing on your Yasuo in the top lane. Saints with 1 extra kill. Bottom lane, they're just making some more magic happen. Not going to find too much. Force back as well. Miracle just taking what he can get as his ADC makes his way back to the lane.
Yeah, just a quick reset here coming out Flocon can easily clear out these mid waves here. There's a ward here. Should be able to clear this one out as well. Give some vision over to his team as this 1K gold lead hasn't really grown in the past few minutes. It's a very slow-paced game, but here is the engage on the Talia. I don't think they have the damage for this, and they don't. Maddie, he's just going to fall down. Saints getting way too aggressive there on the mid wave and is just giving a free kill for Oklahoma Christian. Basically. And they use 2 ultimates.
Has to been some sort of misunderstanding, miscommunication there. Maybe a little baiting going on. Who knows? But that's a tale for the players to know and us to only speculate on as we're seeing Ari farming. We're seeing Ricky topside getting a little bit of advantageous position. Nar getting behind him as the Lee Sin makes his way up. Ricky's in trouble, finds a tornado, not onto the Lee Sin, however, dashing around with the wind wall up to prevent that orb from flying through. Getting aggressive, he has a tornado once again. The kick is going to find, tornado's going to whiff, and now he's in a lot of trouble. Nar finds him, has him right where he wants him, and Lee Sin puts him down. SPME gets the kill as we're seeing the rest of the Saints amalgamate here in the mid lane. This is their moment. They need something done here. Thrown into the rocks. Ari's in a lot of pressure. Flocon taking some damage. Now the rest of the Saints make themselves known, and they are trying to find some kind of value. Lee Sin's here now, however, dashes through. Orb is found onto Maddie, but he's going to be behind the tower. No follow-up just yet. Saints, they are getting a lot more scrappy because they recognize that they should have the early advantage here. They're just not finding any of it so far. And I'm wondering what's going wrong for them here. What led them to lose that that pressure that they were having just near the first few minutes of this game? They had things going well for them. And with the next wave of Void Grubs spawning, this could be another chance for the Saints to grab some more pressure. They really favor getting the Void Grubs, just all that extra tower damage, invaluable. But we're seeing them make their way to the top side, squaring off.
Just wait out. They should just wait out the Mega Gnar here. He's forced to go Mega. It's going to be Oklahoma Christian. They're going to be looking for a fight right now, and Saints should avoid it at all costs. For the next little bit, once Gnar gets back to small Gnar, they can contest Talia. Just completely waste flash there in the mid lane. Got scared by Maddie. That's a big, big flash. I mean, now she's not going to have it for next time Maddie comes mid. And I think because of that, it's going to be a free grubs here. Flocon, half HP's the Lee Sin. That's going to be a beautiful chunk there. Saints, they're going to take these 6 grubs, and they might even look to rotate to fight the dragon afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's looking really good for the Saints right now.
Oh,
Lake
solo
finding
kill.
Solo kill in the bottom lane. And again, that just goes to show, pound for pound, the Saints really just are on top in this series. They just have to make sure the rest of their game plan follows through with their mechanical skill. Bottom side, Lee Sin making his way over Lig and a lot of pressure. He was able to get that kill bottom side, but not without lowering his health significantly. Seeing SPME get that kill seems to be the dominant force for Oklahoma Christian right now.
Yeah, and Talia chilling in the mid lane. Saints trying to dive it over and over, but it looks like Oklahoma Christian is ready for the answer. The Karma has had some great roam timers towards the mid lane here. Lee Sin now has a bounty, definitely the standout player here for Oklahoma Christian, having a great game. 4-1, has the Eclipse, trying to finish off that jungle item. 10 more camps needed as Maddie looking to take this scuttle. That would be great for them. Gives them a bit more vision here. They need to clear out that ward, though, inside the Dragon Pit. I don't think they have any idea that it's in there. And until it's there, it's going to be really tough for them to start up the Dragon.
Yeah, but they're just going to take this time to just recoup, get some items, get back into the action after that. With all 6 Void Grubs going their way, however, getting the next Dragon would also be really nice for them. Net worth-wise, both of these teams are even. Kills-wise, they're also fairly even. No one really taking the game by storm quite yet. But I feel like in the next few minutes, we're going to start to see some important power spikes coming into effect. I think Maddie's ultimate will start to play a lot more of a role here now that he's got it. And it will make some of these engagements that we've been seeing them struggle with go a lot easier. They just have to find the right engagement. They can't just press R on someone and hope that they get a kill after.
Like, what target would you say they should go for?
And that's the hard part for me. Obviously, you want to say Ezreal, but Ezreal, he just blinks out afterwards, right? And he has a Karma behind him, making sure he stays alive. You have Talia, who has the Rock rock wall to make sure that anything you try to do kind of falls to the side. I think ultimately it doesn't really matter who it is. It's more so who's with Maddie at the time. And whoever is with him will dictate who he wants to go on. If Ari's there, then he could go on anybody. But
Oh.
if it's just Tavares, then he has a little bit less options. Or again, with the
What?
rock wall going down to Lig, they're
Oh,
gonna
good
miss the
moves.
launch back into the rocks, so he's gonna stay alive. In fact,
Oh, there it
finding
is.
a good arrow storm,
big,
getting the kill.
big.
Huge ult from Maddie, huge arrow from Lig as well.
Did no
Ultimate
damage.
from the enemy Ezreal, taking a good amount of damage, but not enough. Charm's gonna whiff.
Comes Ricky.
But Maddie getting his way in, and Maddie looking for more. The
Oh,
arrow finds the
snipe.
Lee Sin as he dashes away. You are not safe here. Windwall going to do a good job dodging the objectives, but the knockup from Miracle just going to whiff as they finish off the kill regardless. Lig getting the kill on the enemy ADC, double kill for him. You couldn't ask for anything better in this engagement. Now they're going to be able to get that dragon for free.
Yeah, you would think they definitely get this dragon for free. Ricky did use his teleport there to help out in that team fight, forced to dive on the Ezreal, and a great job from St. Clair. I mean, Lig definitely an important part in that one. Sidesteps the knockback. If he gets hit by that Talia knockback, he dies, and the fight goes completely different. So great job there by Lig in the ball lane, backing up when needed, making sure he can bait for his team, and then the follow-up is just too easy. Maddie just has to press R on the Talia. The Rakan ults, charms everyone up. If Ricky was there in time, would have been a huge Yasuo ult, but still, great job from the Saints. They're going to take a nice 2k gold lead now. They get the first dragon, and now they're looking for a play top lane. Ricky isn't able to hit his knock-up. Does have Miracle's knock-up as well, but not a lot of damage there just yet. Flocon, he's just looking to poke out this Lee Sin. Nice dodge there by Lee Sin. His Lig, he's going to be throwing out some arrows and doing heavy poke. 3-1-1 on that Varus with a shutdown. A very, very fed member there for the side of St. Clair. Now, they could maybe look for a play here on this Gnar. Will Ricky be able to knock this knock-up? I think he should be able to land it. There's Miracle, misses out on the knock-up, but a flash wasted by the Gnar. Good job there for St. Clair.
Yeah, great work so far from the Saints. And as we see SPME, again, one of the bigger forces for this team, making their way through. But now, with the TP coming in, Miracle also trying to get a little antsy, wants to find something here. But as everybody settles into their position for this brewing team fight, we have to hope that we're not missing too much here. There we go. Everyone's back. Everybody's still alive, thankfully. And with this Rift Herald up, the Saints want to make sure that they establish this control over here in the river. And it looks like, yeah, Oklahoma Christian University, they're going to be just acquiescing it, letting Saints take it.
Yeah, it's going to be a free Rift Herald here for the side of St. Clair. They're getting every objective they want. 6 grubs, they have a drag, they have a rift. And they're doing a decent job. They're not accelerating the game too quickly. So we're not going to see nothing like we saw yesterday where the game ends in 22, 23 minutes, you would think. But here is the contest coming in from the Karma. Forced to flash out, but Maddie keeps on going. Ricky going to flash after it as well. Is a knockup going to come through? The chain CC is not there for the Saints, but the dive is coming in from Lig. Ricky going to land the knockup. The knockup doesn't hit by Maddie, but here is Lig. They get the turret first. And the kill is going to go over to Lig. Another great macro play there from the Saints leads to them blowing up this gold lead.
Yeah, and with the Saints in a very clear lead right now, after getting that Rift Herald too, they want to look for their next opportunity, next big play, but might not be too far away as Miracle makes a play onto Flocon, allowing him to get a nice quick kill onto the Ezreal. SPME once again in a precarious position, and the rest of his team is coming to offer some support. Flocon trying to stay alive, trying not to get too far in, but the Gnar also just about to hit Mega, finds it, but they're not able to get any significant amount of damage. Miracle so low, still alive though. Lee Sin really low with Lig ready to get that snipe with the arrow, but no, he's getting thrown into the wall, and that's their chance. Gone to get the kill. At the very least, they're going to be able to get the kill onto Gnar for sure.
Yeah, an easy kill there on the Gnar towards the end of the fight. And now the game has really accelerated. Saints with a huge gold lead of 5,000. This is what we were expecting, and the Saints are delivering. A bit of a rough early game, but a great little mid-game macro play from them. Ezreal 0-3-0. Doesn't have a lot of gold. I don't know if he has too many plates either, as 4 members of the Saints now sitting with shutdowns of their own. I mean, this is a very fed team here for St. Clair. I don't really know how Oklahoma Christian can play these team fights, it seems like Saints can kill anyone they want at any time.
Yeah, and again, this is a very familiar situation. They were having a pretty good game in the last
Oh,
game, but
and
guess what happened afterwards? But look, now Miracle finding a quick kill onto the enemy Karma. Vi is unstoppable. Maddie doing such a great job being in the right position at the right time, spotting the Rift Herald now as well, allowing them to charge through the jungle, maybe charge around and get that mid tower as well. Miracle running through, find a lot of value. Mid tower's dying this whole time while Flocon trying to make the enemy team die in the jungle. This is a war on two fronts that they can't fight. Oklahoma Christian University, they are going to lose their mid tower.
Oh, here's Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky making his way in on the Yasuo, finding a good target in the Lee Sin right now. Going to try to ward hop through the wall perhaps, but not in a great position to do so. He's going to have to dash to his teammate, putting himself in a really risky position, but they still find the kill regardless. Flocon working his magic, getting the kill, and Saints are on a tear right now, just going from one tower to the next, tearing them down as they make their way through these lanes. Rift Herald found so much value in the mid lane, allowing them to get such a great and quick tear down. Grubs allowing them to take this bottom tower so fast and easy as well. Great work from the Saints so far, and I think it's pretty good to say that they might have this one.
And this is why they play for the 6 grubs. They take these tier 2 so quickly. They get a lot more gold quickly. You can see Ricky has that shield bow in the mid lane. Flocon is on 2 items as well. Vi on 2 full items. Obviously, Lee Sin is pretty fed, but he can't really do much against this team comp. All they have to do is just press R on Lee Sin. He dies. Ricky's trying to solo this dragon. Contest won't come through from the Gnar. Free Drake, they're up 8k gold. Daniil, what do you see maybe as a way back into the game for Oklahoma Christian?
Absolutely nothing. League of
Okay.
Legends is not very forgiving, and when it comes to recovery. And I think the Saints, I really don't want to curse it by saying I think they're in an unthrowable position right now. There really just is not a lot Oklahoma Christian can do to get kills or get anything done on the map without dying significantly more than the Saints would in any of these exchanges. Already now, 10k net worth lead, and we're seeing the effects of it as maybe I spoke too soon. Flocon in a little bit of a precarious position, proving that it's never too late to sell the bag.
Never too late. Flocon getting a bit ahead of himself. He just couldn't wait for his team to push in mid, and that's the little things we were talking about. Dying when you shouldn't be dying. It's just a mistake that Alonso was talking so much about, and it's important, even when you're winning, to still play solid fundamentals. And I believe we have a pause on the Rift. So that one's not our frames. That one, technical difficulty from one of the players.
Yeah, I'm sure, and hopefully they get that sorted out soon. As this game's still ongoing, I made a bold statement that I'm pretty sure Oklahoma Christian lose this game. It's still technically possible for them to win, but again, League does not give you a lot of room to recover. It really does come down to a bunch of factors. Most of them are objectives, and objectives that the Saints have already claimed. They got the Rift Herald, they got all 6 grubs. Oklahoma Christian got 1 dragon, and the Saints are pushing them super far into their base. Do the math. Like they can't farm anywhere. They can't roam around the map. There's wards everywhere. They have all the objectives. Their towers are all gone. They can't retreat. It's just you can't really recover. They're just kind of out of the game right now. But again, unless we see more of what Flocon did, then I think the Saints have this one in the bag.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get word of what's happening. Hopefully everyone is okay. Hopefully nothing too bad happened. Maybe a disconnected keyboard or something silly. Never know. Maybe internet went out in somebody's house. No, nonetheless, it's a pause. It's a stop in a game that's always moving, and it's definitely going to be throwing everybody off a guard. So it's going to be important for the Saints to stay mentally locked in and still focus on the task ahead.
Yeah, the task ahead is to just not feed.
Not
feed. It's a difficult task sometimes. Again, it was difficult yesterday. I shouldn't get on them too hard for yesterday. Yesterday was a hard game. It was a difficult match, but now we're going to be getting some opportunity for the Saints to really showcase what they're capable of. Show us that they are an indomitable team. Like you said, what are we, 14th seed? That's not too bad out of
good.
64.
Pretty
Just
good.
some random college out somewhere in the middle of nowhere in
Okay.
Canada, right? That's pretty good.
Is that who we are?
That's what people say we are.
What people?
people that I don't know. I don't care about their opinion.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I've never really heard someone say it, but I'm sure someone said
See,
that sometime.
I think you're just being lied to by the bots.
The bots.
The bots by the other schools
Here's my-
implemented.
Good opinion, and this is my life strategy. Assume everything you read on the internet is fake. Okay, it's a bot that's saying it's not a real person. You just live through life so much more calm. You're like, well, I'm gonna get mad at what a bot's saying. It's not even a real person.
I mean, true.
Yeah, it's just life. If you see, someone say that your school's not good, it's a bad school. It's a bot saying that. So, unfortunately, what we're hearing is the game had a little bit of a client crash issue, but the Saints, unsurprisingly, won that game. But we will be wrapping up that first game anticlimactic fashion. But again, it happens.
It
ladies and
wouldn't have been a
gentlemen.
climactic finish anyway.
That's true.
They were slaughtering them. Let's say
Absolutely.
how it is.
But ladies and gentlemen, as we kind of come that to a close, we'll send it over to a break while we get ready for game 2, and we'll see what more these teams have in store.
Welcome back, everybody. We're just about to get into draft for game two. Saints had a very good first game. They ended it early on. Obviously, we didn't see the ending, but we saw the important part, which was them getting ahead, them playing well, and it seems like they're all on the same page. But it is fearless draft. We won't be seeing 10 champions that we just saw in this game. So Saints gonna have to play something different, something they haven't played earlier today. Oklahoma Christian obviously have to do the same.
Yeah, to be fair though, I feel like all the champions we saw in that game for the Saints, we don't really see them at all. Anyways, maybe except for the Ligs Varus and Flocon's Ari, very common picks we've seen. But the other three, we won't miss those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably won't need to pick them as well. And, we saw the draft. It was Nar who was picked early on to the draft, and Saints answered with the Yasso. So that was a counter pick they had there for their top laner, Ricky. Now I'm curious if we're going to be switching sides here, and maybe it's going to be Oklahoma Christian this time who can pick the counter to the top laner of Saints. But it seemed like they were pretty content. They just slammed Nar on their second pick, and it just didn't work out for them there in that game.
Yeah, and whether or not they're going to be able to make something work this time around is going to be the important part. As we see Saints, they are getting started with the draft. They switched sides, actually. That was something I noticed before we looking at this beautiful scenery. Saints are now on the red side. Oklahoma Christian going to be representing blue as the draft gets started here. We're seeing the bands come out and looking pretty standard from what we saw.
Yeah, it's going to probably be very possibly the exact same bands we saw in game one. And Oklahoma Christian following that path, banning out the Vladimir, the Nunu, and Skarner again. This time St. Clair, they're going to ban out the Corki, the Aurora, and the Zyra. So the first 6 bans are the exact same. It's going to be a Gwen blind pick here for Oklahoma Christian. Let's see how the Saints decide to answer that. There's a lot of counter picks to Gwen in the top lane. I don't think Casante is one of them, but they're going to be picking that. And then the Xin Zhao going to get picked up for Maddie. It's going to be answered by a Jarvan from Oklahoma Christian University, and then an Oriana. So a very great start to this team comp from Oklahoma Christian. A lot of kind of group CC they have with the Jarvan ultimate, the Oriana ultimate, and then a bunch of damage with the Gwen ultimate.
Counterpoint though, Casante.
Not going to be too useful this game.
I don't know. I feel like, especially with Ricky playing it, I think it's going to be pretty strong.
Gwen hard counters Casante.
That's great, but it's Ricky LaFleur.
I mean, sure.
And we have Flocon back on the Victor. We've seen the impact they can have on that. There's a lot of on paper in games like this. On paper, certain things can happen, but we don't live on paper. We're three-dimensional, baby. You can see anything happen here on the Rift, and I think Ricky might come up with a surprise. What am I basing that off of? Absolutely nothing. But I think he's going to be able to really put on a show here. He's got something to prove, but maybe they got a little bit of PTSD from yesterday, picking the Tristana for themselves this time around.
Yeah, and it's going to be the Aphelios Lulu here for Oklahoma Christian. Miracle going to be locking in that rel with that last pick, and I mean, two pretty interesting team comps. Oklahoma Christian, they don't have too much front line. They only have really the Jarvin and the Gwen. But if the Saints, I mean, if they can get this Tristana ahead, I think that's going to be the big important key here. Tristana has a lot of escape from that Jarvin Oriana. If they decide to go on her, she can just rock it away. She can ult them away. She can do so many things. So I love this Tristana pick from St. Clair, making sure their ADC is able to stay alive and healthy and just do DPS. Flocon will just be ahead as always. His farming in the mid lane is very, very good. Gets small advantages, turns them into big ones. So I definitely like the draft from St. Clair, but Oklahoma Christian, they have a really scary draft. If they get ahead early, they start snowballing. It's going to be hard for the Saints to slow them down.
Yeah, and I really like the Tristana pick for the Saints, not just because it's what they lost to yesterday. I think the value that she brings against most team comps is understated. Look, you mentioned the lack of frontline for Oklahoma Christian, but what little they do have, Tristana is not afraid of that, and she'll take their lack of mobility and her ability to just right-click them a bunch of times any day of the week. That's what Tristana love to see. Someone I can stick my mind on, shoot them 4 times quickly, and the entire time they can't really do anything to stop me, and then I rocket jump away to get another kill on somebody else. And also, she still has her ultimate that prevents when Jarvan does initiate on her, she can just send him flying somewhere else. And she's safe, good to go, happy. And not to forget, she still has so many teammates who are going to be able to do something to counteract those engagements. I think Tristana is a great pick in this game.
I must agree with you. You can see Miracle having a blast, laughing there.
Bugging out a little bit.
Love to see it. I mean, why not? You see players getting ready before the game, probably talking some strategy as they are loading up into the Rift. Daniil, you make some good predictions. Saints won game 1. Do you think they will close out the series in this second game?
In short, Theo, yes. Yes, I do.
I like that.
I think the draft on Oklahoma Christian, it's pretty good. If here's how I see it.
Okay.
Especially again, just talking around MOBAs in general, the different drafts that you can look at, you can draft to win and you can draft to not lose. I think Oklahoma Christian's draft is a good not to lose draft.
But if
I
you're
think
not
the Saints,
you got me confused, bro.
not at all. Okay, look
You
at it
do,
this
though.
way. There's playing to win. You're playing proactively. You're trying to go out and make things happen. And then playing to not lose is just playing to not feed.
But if you're playing not to lose, aren't you playing to win? Like, what are
No.
you playing for if you're playing not to lose?
Of course,
Are you playing to
the
tie? Is
the
there a
desired
tie?
outcome?
Is there a tie?
The desired outcome is to win, of course,
Okay.
but your way of approaching it, right? You can be active, proactive, aggressive, or you can be passive and chill.
Mhm.
That's the difference between playing to win, playing to get stuff done, get active, and have your game plan executed flawlessly, or we're going to chill back and hopefully not die too much.
So you think we're gonna see that from Oklahoma Christian?
I think their draft is a play to not lose draft.
I don't know. I think they're kind of the opposite. They have kind of
Okay.
full all-in engage with Gwen, Jarvan, Oriana. They're just gonna look to go in that backline, use all their ultimates, hopefully hit something. If nothing
Yeah.
hits, they lose.
But what about before that?
Before that, they still have pretty strong champions. I mean, Jarvan is probably one of the strongest dueling champions in the jungle right now. I don't know why he's not played more. A very, very good jungler. Oriana before 6, not too useful. But Victor is also before 6. Is like, but Oriana Ultimate's probably more impactful than Victor. It's going to be in these situations because they're just looking to get a pick. Jarvan ult, Oriana ult, they get a pick. They start the fight 5v4. Yeah, they won't have 2 ultimates, but then the Gwen can just roll through a team fight. That's the ideal scenario here for the side of Oklahoma Christian. But if the Saints are able to withstand that first initial Jarvan ultimate with the knock-up, with the Oriana ultimate, if they survive that initial huge blast, the team fight will be easy for the Saints.
Well, I'm starting to see your side a little bit more. I still think the spirit of the draft is a not to lose draft. And of course, in a game like League of Legends, you're going to have to be aggressive at certain points. You're going to have to take into team fights. You're going to have to get initiations. You're going to have to all in commit, try to get some pickoffs. There's no 100% playing not to lose drafts. There's going to be some initiative at any point in any game of League, no matter what you're playing. But I feel like it is a feeling. It is just a feeling. I feel like they're picking these champions, and I think their game plan will probably just be a little bit less proactive. I feel like they're picking this as a reaction to Game 1, and they're going to be trying to not lose to what the Saints are doing. Again, they're going to be doing that by picking the Jarvan, getting aggressive, initiating onto Lig, and see if they can get the pick off early. But I feel like they're more reacting to the Saints' game plan instead of playing their own. Do you see what I'm saying now?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. We are getting word there's a bit of a pause in the game for whatever reason. So we won't be going in just yet. What else do you think is important just about this second game? I mean, the Saints want to obviously advance to the next round, stay in the tournament. How important is this one to close it out in 2-0 fashion?
I think it's important for a lot of reasons. Tomorrow's Monday. You know, people got classes, people got things to do. They don't want to be up too late playing League of Legends. You know, maybe in high school you could get away with that, but here in college, you know, you can't get away with that too much. So I think the Saints, for a lot of reasons, want to just get a comfortable, confident 2-0 victory here, and whether or not they're going to be able to accomplish that, we'll have to wait and see as we get started. Game 2, Oklahoma Christian University versus St. Clair College for the NACL Open Qualifiers. Let's see what these teams have in store, and let's see where they're going to take us in this series as we see bottom side, the ADC for Oklahoma Christian getting caught out in trouble. Miracle already finding the initiation, forced to flash beyond the wall. No one's going to dare chase him. That's going to be a great first initiation for the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, getting that Aphelios flash is so important. It allows for Leg and Miracle level 3 to really go look for an all-in with that flash. A mobile ADC with no flash early, I mean, that is a disaster here. You can definitely see Maddie also like doing a 3 camp into gank. Could work out for them. Lane swap is not going to happen, I believe, from either side here. I mean, if anyone was to do it, it would be the Saints. To get a bit of a stronger 2v1, but they don't have a double ranged poke comp, so they're not gonna do that one and force this Gwen to lose XP. It's just gonna be basic lane assignments. Just the Aphelios is gonna be flashless for the first little bit for this game.
Yeah, whether or not we're gonna see Maddie try to make the most of that depends on a lot of factors that we will have to just wait and see how things play out. But against the Lulu and the flashless Aphelios, I think it's pretty safe to say the Saints were going to try to get aggressive on this bottom side, especially when they have the Tristana and Rel. Saints already have the incentive to favor bottom side because, like you said, Gwen hard counters Cassante. Doesn't make a lot of sense to put resources there. And again, our team generally just likes to play around their bottom side. So I think we're going to see a lot of action in the bottom lane for all those different reasons. But again, we'll have to wait and see how things shape out. Maybe Ricky's going to start getting 2-3 solo kills.
He has 4 CS, Ricky.
Hey, that's one more than his opponent. Hey.
Is it though?
Yeah. Now they're even. Hey. You got me there. Ladies and gentlemen, and just apologies about the stuttering. We're having some internet issues. Our lovely production staff in the back are doing their best to make sure that things are going to be a smooth experience regardless. Unfortunately, some things are just out of our hands, but we'll do our best to cover the game regardless. Here, rotating over to the mid lane. Both junglers making their way down. Both junglers spear-wielding warriors, recognizing that now. We'll see who has the bigger, better spear in this game. Maddie perfectly going along the fog of war, getting underneath the bush here, and now he's going to get the initiation with his own red buff. He's going to be doing a lot more damage and finding that kill. It's going to be inevitable. Flash is actually to the top side, going to be able to get away. Maddie flashing his own, not going to be able to find the kill, however. Going to steal the red buff still. He already has red buff, so this is not necessarily a great play for him.
If he didn't flash, it was a great play.
Yeah, didn't flash, great play. Now it's just okay. More so, you're denying their red buff. You're not really getting too much out of getting their own red buff since you already have your own, but still, you're going to disrupt the enemy jungler, and this is going to be less time he has to farm, and now he's going to have to meander a little bit before he can really find any value on the map, so great play for Maddie.
Yeah, good play from Maddie there. Gets himself a bit of jungle pressure. Obviously, didn't need to flash, as we said, but went for the kill. If he got that kill on Jarvan, would have been really, really good. Still, he has his entire bot side to farm here. The Xin Zhao. He's going to go farm that up. He's going to be very far ahead of this Jarvan early on, and that's perfect for the Saints. Jarvan was going to be a big threat this game. He was on Lee Sin last game. He was their most fed member, so the fact that you can shut down maybe Oklahoma Christian's best player early on into the game might tilt him a little bit, might make him go for some plays that he shouldn't. But now this Aphelios, no flash, gonna get flashed on, just like I said. First blood goes down. They don't have enough damage to kill this Lulu. But yeah, Aphelios, no flash. Why would you not gank it? Free kill.
Absolutely. Saints I mean, this is basic. This is like doing basic math in real life. It's basic math of League of Legends. No flash on Aphelios equals jungler will gank bottom. But sometimes
Quick maths.
it is really simple, quick math. But sometimes people forget to do that math. So the Saints just really executing it flawlessly. They didn't forget to put the addition sign. They carried the one. The math. It made sense. They get a 100%. It's a one question quiz. They got a 100% on it. So they
Good.
get that kill, and hopefully going to be able to turn that to an advantage later on in the game.
Yeah, and they are up in gold by 700 gold. I mean, these early games have been
Huge.
pretty slow, honestly, considering how quickly these games have been ending. As Maddie has a gank mid, but the Lulu, Oklahoma Christian support, Perma, is around mid, making sure that their mid laner has a lot of extra resources. So you could see Oklahoma Christian, they sacrificed their ADC a little bit to maybe help out their mid laners. Ricky, he's going to get taken down really low. Really, really low here. Is he going to be able to outplay these? He's level 5. Does he hit level 6 off any of these creeps? I don't think he does, but he survives. The ultimate here does not have teleport, but nobody from Oklahoma Christian is coming to dive this. I don't know if the Gwen can get this one-on-one. Ricky still has enough mana to pull off a outplay here. If he hits level 6 off this wave and this Gwen walks up a little bit too far, I mean, that's going to be the kill potential for Ricky. There it is, level 6. Gwen had to know that. Didn't go for the dive. Ricky going to be able to pick up that wave, but you can see the CS difference. Gwen definitely way stronger than this Cassante, especially in the early parts of the game.
1,000,000%. Void Grub spawning now. Maddie making his way top side. Unfortunately, Ricky at no HP and no mana, not going to be much of an asset here. Miracle is going to be making his way up as well as Lig. So they shoved out the bottom wave. Again, Saints favor the Grub so heavily, willing to just have their entire bottom lane make their way up here just to help make sure Maddie can get it. While Ricky makes his way bottom. Actually, lane swap coming out.
Ooh.
Huge. This is really smart coming out from the Saints. Alonzo must be clapping, just rubbing his chin, thinking, yes, my teams, they're doing a great job. Just keep their scholarships, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty well-practiced play. If you want to play for the Grubs and you have a very strong bot lane, send them up to the top and around the 6-minute mark, get the swap with your top laner. Ricky, he's on the top laner that can easily farm against Aphelios Lulu. No threat of dying whatsoever. And on the flip side, I mean, Gwen, I'm surprised they're not diving at top lane with
They
the
are.
Zhao. No,
Never mind. Yeah.
they're just stealing away the jungle, which is not a bad play. Ricky, though, has to be careful here. If he gets a bit too aggressive here, Jarvan is around the bot side. Now I think they're pinging for the dive after taking away that blue buff. And this should be relatively free. No flash on this Gwen. Just stun her up. Get the knock up with Maddie Lig. Level 6 now. Let's see how they play it. Miracle has to land the first CC, but misses. It's the knock up. There should be the knock up coming out for Maddie. Do they have enough damage to find the kill? Lig trying to find it. They find it. The flash is used.
Oh!
But a double kill comes out for the Gwen. A nice outplay there from Oklahoma Christian's top laner.
Well, now we're in trouble. This Gwen is going to be a problem for sure.
I try to tell you, bro. I try to tell you.
Yeah, but I still don't. I still doubt it.
You don't believe me, man?
I believe in Ricky LaFleur. As you see, he's facing his own gank coming from the jungler and the bottom duo here in the bottom lane. Whether or not he's going to be able to endure, we'll have to wait and see. Miracle is making his way bottom, so he just has to survive just a little bit longer, and hopefully he'll be able to make his way through. We're seeing the Jarvan in a little bit of a precarious position, getting stunned back, forced into Miracle. Ricky doing a lot of great work here, finding a kill for himself now. Hey, Ricky LaFleur. It's not a double kill, but able to show that Gwen that he can do it too. These top laners both getting a little bit of action here in the lanes that they've been given.
Yeah, and getting that feats of strength for the Saints is very, very nice. To getting the first to 3 kills, gonna help them with upgrading those boots. And I think we have to take a look at Lig's build here. I think he's going collector first item. I mean, that's something I do, and I do not recommend it to anyone on Tristana, but it's a very snowball-heavy build. You go collector, you go IE, you just absolutely nuke one person. As now we're going to see a gank up in the top lane. This Gwen getting way too aggressive, forced to use Ghost, will get out of there with ease. A nice little gank, though, for Maddie to get rid of that big, big summoner, which is going to be so crucial in these team fights.
Yeah, so both summoners down now for this Gwen. Going to have one back very soon, but still, it's going to be down for a little bit. As now we're waiting to see what the Saints are going to be trying to conspire for next. Flocon getting ganked here. Is going to expect him to be fine, but as he goes the way of the river, I think he's in a little bit of trouble. Forced to flash. Should be totally fine still, but now Maddie's here. Maybe Jarvan can get baited. Not quite. No, he knows to get out of dodge. Didn't see Maddie, but felt his presence. Bottom side, looks like the Saints are just taking that tower. Whether or not it's going to be able to kill it, don't know for sure, but definitely doing a lot of damage to it. Top
Oh!
side, we're seeing Ricky pushing the Gwen to the tower, taking one tower shot.
No
Not
ult.
going to be too threatening, though. Going to be able to just walk and prance and dance around with those big, goofy scissors. As OCU, they are doing a good job of stabilizing that little bit of early aggression from the Saints and just getting themselves back in this game.
I mean, it seems like a very even game, but it's not. The Saints are up 1.4k gold.
Yeah.
They've been getting these plates on their Tristana, who's going to be the first person in the game with a completed item with that collector. As that's going to be a lot of kill pressure now, wherever this Tristana rotates over. Not a lot of armor here for Oklahoma Christian just yet. Nobody really has built it at all. So whoever she decides to auto attack in a team fight, if the Saints just look at that one person, that person should blow up, and maybe they're looking for a pick mid here. Oriana, though, able to sniff it out. Saints going to be rotating over top. Maybe look for a gank on the Gwen because the next grub spawn in under a minute.
Now, you mentioned this collector item a lot. Could you explain to the folks at home who aren't familiar with that item and for me what it does and why you would or would not recommend it? Actually, do so after we see this engagement. Miracle using the blast route to get out of dodge. Void Grubs are spawning. Tristana Leg making his way down to this river. We're not going to have Cassante or Aphelios here, and I think that favors the Saints right now as they're going to be missing a critical part of their game strategy for OCU. Looks like Jarvan getting in a good position. Speem trying not to go down.
Ricky.
But Ricky
Solo kill.
finding the solo kill.
Come
Bottom
on.
lane. Come on, as they're getting the Void Grubs. OCU making their way in. They find Lig on that backline Jarvan, but he's going to rocket him away, but gets caught in the Cataclysm. Rocket is going to be forced back, but he's still going to get the kill regardless.
Here's
Maddie
Ricky.
force a flashback. Ricky is here after getting the blood from Aphelios off of his clubs. He's looking to douse it in more. OCU flee as Jarvan falls. These Grubs are as good as the Saints. They lost Lig for it, but I think they're content with this trade as now they have all 6 in their pocket.
And there you saw the threat of Oklahoma Christian's team composition. They one-shot Lig, but there's still a lot of other bodies to burn through. And Saints, with Ricky rotating over, I'm not sure how Ricky found a solo kill onto the Aphelios, honestly. I'm not sure why the Aphelios was bought if OCU was contesting the Grubs. But, I mean, it's just a bit of a macro misplay from OCU. St. Clair take advantage. They get the solo kill. Ricky TPs in, cleans up the fight, gets Saints the 6 Grubs, and now they can look to rotate over to start getting vision around this dragon.
So, yes, Theo. Now, the collectors. What is this
Okay,
mythical item for
so
those who don't know? I definitely know.
This item, it's a lethality item. It gives some crit, and it executes at about something 3-4% HP. Not a very high number, but
Scary.
it also gives you 25 gold on kill. So it's a very snowball heavy item. You want to get this item probably as early as possible, and just try and look around the map and get kills.
For sure.
It's not really a scaling late game item.
Makes sense. I mean, if it's a snowballing item, you want to get as much value of it as possible throughout the story of the game. So you want to get it early, and that he did. We're still pre-15 minutes.
Yeah, still
So-
pretty early on this game.
There's still a lot of time for him to find that value and get many more kills. Like, I think he definitely does want to just be that snowball threat for the Saints because, as we've already seen, he went down pretty early in that team fight and didn't get a lot of value. The Saints still were able to win it pretty confidently with Ricky showing up. Ricky, who did not have a great lane. Ricky, who was forced into a lane rotation situation bottom side. Ricky, who got a 3-man ganked and then turned that into a kill. And Ricky, who came back, got a solo kill on the Aphelios and then cleared up the team fight for his team. Come on. I think, like I said, regardless of the lanes, regardless of everything else, we're going to see Ricky show up on the Cassante, and it's going to be a huge asset for the team.
Yeah, a good job here. And you can see the Jarvan Oriana combo. It does a lot of damage. It gets a kill, but that the only rough part with this team comp is you need to get more than one kill with that combo because you killed the Tristana, but now what? You don't have Jarvan nothing. You don't have Oriana nothing. Anyone can, like, Ricky will just be able to
Aphelios wasn't
walk
even
through.
there.
Yeah, Aphelios was dead. Like, this Aphelios is kind of out of this game. Like, he's not even in it. He's just been farming side lane. He's not really doing too much. It's going to take a long time for this Aphelios to get online. I mean, he has a Lulu, but it's going to be hard to play into the comp of the Saints.
Yeah, and with the hindsight of that team fight kind of put in perspective, you have, like, 2 high committal actions to find 1 kill. The math doesn't work out there. 2 to 1, Saints are walking out there because at that point, after they do that, they might as well be dead. Oriana and Jarvan might as well be dead after that initiation. In fact, most times they will end up being dead. We saw the Jarvan being the first to fall, which kind of marked the end of that team fight. So they are literally trading two of their champions for, in a lot of cases, just one. And until this Aphelios is online, they don't really have many more choices to make things happen. So we'll have to wait and see what this is going to do, shaking up for OCU as we get back into the game. Maddie just doing his spear things and scaring off that Orion in the mid lane.
Yeah, Sane's going to take a lot of vision here in deep in the jungle. They picked up the second dragon while we were away. They have a nice little 2k gold lead, and now I think we're going to be seeing them try to dive this bot lane, but they will be able to do so. There's no ward here on Miracle. Finally gets spotted out. Xin Zhao's trying to take away this red buff again. Trying to make this Jarvan as homeless as possible. He's going to be able to do so there. And Flowcon is rotating over. I mean, it's OCU. They have to be careful. Don't have any TPs here. Aphelios has flash. That's the one bright spot for them. But nice engage by Miracle. Goes before the flash is used onto the Aphelios. Can they find the kill though? Yes, they do. Lig gets a reset. Flashes in. Gets another reset. Can he get one more auto on this? Lulu, I think the blow up will kill him. Gets the kill. Dies to the Jarvan. But Maddie goes in on the Oriana who TPs down here. The ultimate from Oriana doesn't do too much. Maddie couldn't find the kill on the Oriana. But there is the J4 getting out of danger. Flowcon doing so much damage, and now I think they're just going to chase this Jarvan. Flowcon, though, with the red buff, takes third aggro. I don't know if they're going to be able to find this kill onto Jarvan, who's on 1 HP. Might be Miracle coming back from base, looking to pick up this XP, but Jarvan, he's going to try and maneuver his way out of this one. I think executing to the turret is the best play. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. Execution, nobody gets the gold, just some XP there. There's another great team fight from the Saints, being proactive, like you said, finding a good play near the bot side of the map.
For sure. Great work from the Saints. And again, just carrying that advantage forward. And now would you look at how top lane is going. They're even on levels and not too far behind in CS. Ricky, still a valuable asset to his team. This Gwen is going to have to do some heavy lifting to get the rest of the team up to snuff. And going to be as lethal as the Gwen is. Hopefully, they're going to be able to take that top lane advantage and make it into something more impactful. But looking at the network difference, about 3K for St. Clair College up over Oklahoma Christian University. A lot of it, again, is exactly where you want it to be. It's going to be on Flowcon, it's going to be on Ricky, it's going to be on Lig. So just have to wait and see what the Saints are going to do to press the advantage forward. Dragons not spawning for a while. Rift Herald has just come up, however, and I think the Saints, if trends are going to follow what they have been for the last few games, I think they're definitely going to want to take that as soon as possible, probably after they take this mid tower.
Yeah, 6 grubs Tristana just nukes these towers. Good job there from the Saints. And now for Aphelios, he goes for the first item collector. When being so far behind, I hate this purchase. I think he should every single time, 10 out of 10 times, go for
Aphelios bot collector.
Yeah, just go for Yuntal as a new item. It's so good on Aphelios. It lets you stack up crit almost infinitely basically throughout the game. I don't know why people go first item collector on Aphelios. I mean, on Tristana you could see it. All your damage is going on one target. You're trying to blow up this target as quick as possible.
Exactly.
But Aphelios, you kind of do splash damage, you do big damage to one person. You don't really want the collector early into the game. I think not going Yuntal is going to come back to bite them in the later parts of the game.
And I think now, as we see the Rift Herald fall, I think we're starting to see the beginning of the end for Oklahoma University. Miracle in a bad spot. Gonna initiate on the Gwen. Maddie, Flowcon not too far behind, but same with Oklahoma Christian. Teammates are ready for action, ready to throw down Flowcon.
There goes the Gwen.
In a little bit of trouble. Taking airborne. Flowcon getting low. Gwen trying to find the kill, almost getting it. Lig not too far behind. They're gonna be able to find Miracle and Flowcon are down, but Ricky has made his way to this team fight, and he's looking to make a statement. It's a 3v5 here for St. Clair College, but they don't want to let up. They don't want to give it down.
Nice.
Ricky finding a huge pull back. Lig getting a lot of damage, forces Rocket jump away, not able to get his right clicks off.
Look at
so
Lig.
low, but Lig getting a good amount of work done, taking down the Lulu with another reset on the rocket jump, almost getting the Jarvan. They're gonna lose Maddie, but it was a 3v5, now it's a 2v2. The Saints are demonstrating how dangerous and top-heavy their team composition is right now. This Gwen running for her life, and I'm not sure she's gonna be able to walk away with it. Never mind, they immediately turn around as soon as I say it.
Yeah, and the next dragon is spawning up It is your favorite Daniil, the Ocean Dragon.
Come on.
It's going to be up here. Flocon, in the meantime, he TP'd down to this bot lane to push out this wave, steal some buffs away as well. Turret not going to get taken down yet by the Saints, but they could look to heavily invade the jungle here of OCU. They're still up 3k gold. Tristana close to that second item. I think we'll have it in base. Lig hasn't based yet, but now you can see how dangerous the composition of OCU is. I mean, they quickly found 2 picks without any answer. Obviously, St. Clair then came in a bit later with Ricky being really fed on this Cassante, but if that wasn't the case, I mean, this game would be very hard for St. Clair.
Very difficult indeed. But so far, things are just kind of... What's the opposite of difficult? I won't want to say
Smooth
easy.
sailing.
Smooth, more like...
With a bit of like turbulence, maybe.
No, that's not difficult. The opposite of difficult would be...
Easy.
No.
That's like the direct
No,
translation.
that's the antithesis.
I don't know that word.
Well,
It's a
ladies and
long
gentlemen, you can
long
tell I got a 90 in English class back in high school.
Could
Not
tell
so
I
much
didn't.
anymore. Good moments here as the Saints are just farming up the red buffs. Antithesis is like super opposite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just say opposite. But we're gonna see a fight in the bot lane. Gwen gonna be the target here for St. Clair. The Orianna
Oh my God.
teleported just to get absolutely blown up. The Ephelios ult is flashed away. Here's the re-engage from Maddie. All in, coming out from the side of OCU. So much damage, but the
Not
Saints
enough!
refusing to go down. Flocon still alive. Lig on full HP. The Ephelios tries to flash in, but Lig
Flocon!
is still free, hitting triple
Oh
kill.
my God!
Quadra kill for the Tristana. Lig completely unleashed now, and the Saints gonna take full control of the second game.
Hey, that's 100 extra gold thanks to the collector.
This is a fact.
Come
Come
on! That's the
on.
value you want to be getting off the
Come
collector. And how much extra value have we seen on the Ephelios since he got it?
0.
No, 50.
He got 2
He
there?
got it when he had 1 kill.
Okay.
So he's got 2 more kills, not 50.
It's not bad. 50 gold, not.
How much does a collector cost?
It's one of the cheaper items, like 29.50. Not too expensive. But look
Does
at
it build into anything good?
yeah, it gives you crit. I mean, crit is a good
Like, does
stat.
it build into better items, I mean?
No, that's the final completed item. Yeah.
I don't know about the collector, bro.
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're even on about.
For the Ephelios, at least.
The Tristana has the Infinity Edge and the the Quick Blades. 3 full items for the Tristana. This Lig now is going to be a big problem. I can tell you that.
I completely agree, and no doubt in thanks to the collector. For sure.
Absolutely.
Big part, but Oklahoma Christian, I don't know.
I don't
Collector not a big ally of them, but the Otacon here taken down by the Saints is going to be the flowers dropped, I'm sure. Yes, it is. Otacon. Once again, I said it a little bit earlier. I was definitely premature when I said the Rift Herald going down spelled the beginning of the end for Oklahoma Christian University, but I guess I actually was correct when I said it's the beginning of the end. I didn't say it was the end. It was the beginning of the end, because that's where we saw that 3v5 team fight go the way of St. Clair College. And now, with the Otacon down, I think we are definitely seeing the end starting to become a little bit more close as we see the Rift Herald spawned up. Maddie piloting the beast down to the middle lane, charging into it, gonna take it down in 1 shot. Boom! Baby, come on, collected that guy. It's over. Running it down 1 more time. Boom, baby. Maddie getting off. Now a team fight has begun. Running back, don't want to take this one prematurely. Lig force the rocket jump away, but a huge cataclysm. Now we're gonna see the follow-up for the rest of the team, but immediately taking out Lig with the rocket force and rocket jumping out. Gonna be immediately safe and out of harm's way, turning the tide of battle very swiftly, very comfortably, very confidently. St. Clair College taking that team fight, turning it to the end of the game right off the get-go. And ladies and gentlemen, as we see the last remaining forces of OCU trying to fight against the Saints, getting 1 huge knockup, but no follow-up. It's completely irrelevant. Miracle might go down. Not even Miracle's going to fall. No man left behind at St. Clair College. They're all going to be standing for the end of this game as Oklahoma Christian University breathe their last. Their Nexus falls, and St. Clair College make their way to the next round of the NACL Open Qualifiers. Well done to the Saints, and well done to Oklahoma Christian University putting up a strong fight, especially those team fights where they're really stealing some good value from the Saints and forcing some bad mistakes, but unfortunately not able to ride that one to the end.
Yeah, pretty solid game there from St. Clair. They got leg ahead. Ricky, I don't know how, but somehow got ahead as well. And the team
Yep.
fights, they didn't have enough damage from the Jarvan and Oriana. You saw the last fight; they got a huge combo, but they were just too far behind. The damage wasn't there, and once you fall behind with a composition like that, it's all but over. A great job from the Saints. They're going to be moving on to the next round, and they're going to be feeling very good about themselves after a swift 2-0.
Yeah, very comfortable night indeed, and an early night, thankfully, for all those who have classes tomorrow morning. But let's see how these teams fared at the end of this game. We can see how it shaped up. Saints 20-10 against OCU, and look at Lig 9-3-5. Undoubtedly a very important portion of this game. An unsung hero, Maddie, with 13 assists. That's just one less than Miracle, and definitely more kills than he had. Very impressive performance from everybody all around. And Flocon on that Victor. Again, honestly, let's say I feel like the stats don't really reflect it, but I think it does. Like he had a really good game. He performed really well. Was a big part of the success that the Saints had. Everyone just played their part this game. Ricky too, 0 deaths, even though he was in a really bad countered lane. How do you even pull that off?
Yeah, I mean, a great job there from the whole team. I think a very complete performance and one that their head coach, Alonso, will be very happy with. So, a great job there by the Saints. A much needed win and a lot of improvement, I want to say, today. They weren't really walking up and dying in situations where they didn't need to. Sometimes, yes, they did get cut out here and there, but it was way less than what we saw yesterday. Much more composed play today. Great play from everyone. Moving around the map, taking vision when they need to, and it turned out very, very simple game. They got their ADC ahead.
Yeah.
He carried. GG.
This is how 99% of League of Legends games go.
You wish.
you just win the
You'd
game
wish.
after that.
You'd wish.
But, especially, after yesterday, I can't say that anymore. We
Yeah,
saw a lot of surprising
That's why I
things
said
happen.
you'd wish.
Because we had that happen, but, in any case, ladies and gentlemen, that was the last game we're seeing for today. Saints, again, move on to the next round, and hopefully with their heads held high. I think they definitely should be feeling better based off of this performance compared to their last game compared to this one. So hopefully that wipes away the memory, but not away the lessons. And let's see if we can just really take in the MVP of the series and just see what made them stand out.
And it's going to be Lig.
I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah.
He did his job, did it well. That last Tristana game really showed his skill, I believe, as an ADC. He didn't have an easy game. The Jarvan and Oriana basically doing everything
Only looked
they
at
can
him, yeah.
at all points to get him killed, but using every ability very wisely. Every single time he got jumped on, I always saw the rocket blast sending the Jarvan flying away, and he was able to get out, use the rocket jump, and since the Jarvan would die shortly after, he gets the reset, and that allows him to not only get out of a bad situation, but start the offense afterwards. So no fear, no hesitance, doing his job, doing it well. That's exactly what you see on your ADC.
Absolutely. A very, very great performance and a much deserved MVP. Good job for Lig. He'll be feeling good after that one, and that's important. He's kind of the big carry of the team, so if he's feeling good, that is great. And, I'm hearing we have an interview, so let's head over there right now. It's going to be Lig. How are you feeling, Lig, after a very good 2-0 performance right there?
Hi, all good. I think we won 2-0, so it was good.
Yeah, I think you won 2-0 as well. It's pretty good. Actually, this is a perfect opportunity. How do you pronounce your name? Is it League? League?
It's League.
League. Perfect. So we're doing it
You got
right.
it right.
And I want to ask, so the Tristana pick, you unfortunately lost to that champion yesterday, and you're playing it again today. And you're having great success. Do you think this is like an exceptionally strong champion right now? Or do you think you're just really good at it? Or what's the Tristana story here?
I just wanted something with jump because they have Jarvan, so I wanted to play Lucian, but they banned, so I just think in Tristana.
Fair point.
Yeah.
And I want to ask, just on a different note, if there's anything you could change about League of Legends, what would you change if you were the president of League of Legends? What would you do?
What to change?
Yeah.
I think the tanks right now, because they're so strong. Like, for example, I think Asante is a disgusting champ for ADs. Or when it's like you cannot play into them.
Oh, well, you just played with him on your team, so I don't know if you'd really think he's disgusting in that case. He helped you
Yeah,
win the
I don't
game,
like.
He's a very strong guy.
Well, it was a good victory tomorrow. Today, sorry, looking forward to your opponents next. What are your thoughts in your current bracket, your situation, and how do you feel you guys are going to do in this tournament?
I don't know the next opponent, but I think we have to win everything to win. No, we have to beat every team. So I think it's the same.
I like that mentality. You have to win everything to win, and truer words have never been spoken. Like, thank you very much. You had a fantastic performance. Enjoy your night with your team. Celebrate, but don't celebrate too hard because you have class tomorrow. Okay,
Okay.
don't go too crazy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
See you.
you.
Thank you.
Have a
See
great
ya.
night, my friend. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring us to our close here today. We've had a great amount of time,
Yeah.
a great amount of fun here covering NACL throughout this weekend. And
Good weekend, yeah.
best of luck to the Saints as they continue the journey for sure.
Yeah, I think they're playing relatively soon in the next one. But that is going to do it for us today. Thank you to our sponsor. We have Tim Hortons, Subway, Alienware, St. Clair Cersei, and St. Clair Alumni Association. Thank you in the back today. Adrian directing us. Who's observing? Aiden.
And Gabe doing the
Doing a replay.
observing.
Yeah. So thank you to them in the back. Follow us on all of our social media platforms to not miss anything Saints related. We upload there every single day for all our teams. To stay up to date, follow us there. I've been Theo, joined by Daniil. Thank you guys for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful rest of your night.
Absolutely.